Hello, everyone. This is Stacy. Welcome to The Landing. Today, we're honored to share the voice of a woman whose roots are firmly planted in the salt-swept shores of Down East. Born and raised among the sounds and sea breezes, she's a living thread in the fabric of our community. She loves big and loves deeply, with a heart as wide as core sound and a spirit weathered strong by life's storms. Through trials and triumphs, she stood as a matriarch, anchoring her family with grace, grit, and faith. Salt air is her breath, and home is her calling. Join us as we sit together, soaking in the wisdom, warmth, and resilience of a true island soul. Hello, and welcome back to The Landing. Y'all, it's a beautiful day on the shore this morning. The wind's just right, the humidity's in the air, but it is a beautiful day. And what is even better is the sunshine that is sitting across from me. And when you hear her voice, you're going to smile broadly if you're blessed enough to know her. And if you're not, then you're going to be blessed by getting to know her. So with that being said, you're about to meet one of my favorite human beings on this planet. So if you will, please, Madame, tell us your name, who's your crowd, and where are you from?
My name is Patsy Gaskill, and I was born and raised on Harker's Island. Evelyn and Swindell Lawrence are my parents, and I married Stephen Gaskill almost 57 years ago.
Wow. Oh, me. Okay. So, and I'm not going to say that we're not going to cry a little bit, but just know that if that happens, it's happy tears. Well, yes, you heard it right. I have got Miss Patsy Gaskill with me today, and I can't stop just grinning, smiling, because I'm so excited to see her eyeballs. We're going to jump right in, and so we can get the most out of our time. So, Miss Patsy, will you tell us a little bit about growing up on the island? Tell me a little bit about who you were before I got to know you.
Well, I grew up towards the middle west end of the island, and I had good neighbors like Beverly Willis Johnson and Tony Piner and Lois Ann, Russ and Rex, Curvis, Nauticat. They were my neighbors and my friends that we played with down on the shore. Mm-hmm. We drug little boats down on the shore that we made out of a piece of loose plywood or a piece of loose 1x4 or 1x6. Mm-hmm. And then as I got a little bit older, I moved a little bit farther east down the shore to Miss Gladys's, where I had Heber, Guthrie as a playmate down on the shore, and Artie Fulcher and Larry Ween and my best friend Jennifer. And we played on the shore, and we dig up clams, and Heber would roast them. They could also run us down the shore with toads because I was scared of a swell toad. So we played turn over a skiff and go under it and breathe. Mm-hmm. Where we'd catch air under it. And so we spent our time playing on the shore in the summertime.
Wow. I'm thinking about some of those names, or all of those names really, that you just said. I mean, looking back now, what a wonderful group of people you grew up with.
Don't get any better.
No, it really doesn't.
And Sue, Tony Piner's little sister, I thought she was my baby.
Oh.
Her and, Marla, really. I walked around with her on my hip because Miss Phyllis would let me.
Oh,
and we were all in that same neighborhood.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. So you said that you would go down to the shore, down to the land, and stay all day. Explain that. Like you would get up, and just run out the house by mile. Well, how was it?
I would get up. There was things in the summertime that my sister and my sister Rita, she was down on the shore with us too. We had to help Mama with in the summertime. Now in the wintertime we didn't do a lot of chores, but in the summertime there was things we'd help Mama do.
Like what?
Dust the furniture and sweep. Nothing heavy, but those kind of things, and just help Mama do those things around the house. And then she would fill up those number 2 washing tubs in the backyard with water so the sun would heat it up, and we'd go swimming down on the shore and spend all day. Mm-hmm. We'd scoot home long enough to eat a sandwich or something for lunch, and then by supper time we needed to be home. But then we'd get in that tub of warm water, warm from the sun, outside and take our bath.
Oh, me.
And come in, and Mama would have supper ready.
Oh, my goodness. And it wasn't the kind of thing where your mama was there watching every move. I mean, no, we would just go play.
By the time we got 8 or 9 years old, she didn't spend every second. Now, she'd come check on us.
Yes, every once in a while.
Make sure we
That's
were
right.
okay. And I can remember once when I was probably 5 and Rita 7, and we had been down to the shore, and one of those bad squalls came up, and Mama could see the whirling in the water, and it was a water spout, and she grabbed us by the hands and headed home with us. And that water spout went right between Grandmama Mildred's and Miss Verge's house.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, but Mama got us home safe because she grabbed us and ran.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And that's just how quick they can jump up. Wow. Oh, my goodness. And when you would run home maybe to get a bite of lunch or whatever, like what would that be? What would you eat?
Sometimes it would be a grilled ham sandwich and a bowl of chicken rice soup, because that was my favorite. Mm-hmm. Sometimes she had cooked a pot of beans. Mm-hmm. But it was always something. I grew up in the best family that anybody could ever grow up in, because with Swindell and Evelyn as parents, and Grandmama and Granddaddy Charlie and Mildred right in front of us with their chickens that I could play with, and the shore across the street on Charlie Lewis and Armesia's property where all the family grew up, and it was all family. And I don't know anything better than family.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree 100%. Yeah. And anybody that knows you knows that you lived your whole life like that. I mean, still to this day.
I've moved 2.5 miles my whole life. I've moved one time, and I moved 2.5 miles. I moved from the west end of the island to the east end of the island, and I've been here for 56 years on this end.
On this end. Oh, my goodness. And you're surrounded by family.
Right, surrounded by family.
Yeah.
Still surrounded by family. My daughter lives ahead of me. My daughter lives behind me. And we're in family territory that has been in my husband's family since the late 1780s.
Wow.
When a Harker daughter married a Gaskill. Mm-hmm. And that was Stephen's great-great-great-grandfather, I think, is how that went. And this is Harker property, that's Gaskill's, that's been in family forever.
I love that connection so much. So now take us through school days a little bit. How was school, and which school did you go to? Just tell us a little bit.
I was the first full year of Harker's Island in the present Harker's Island School. I started first grade there, and there was 2 first grade teachers, Miss Bell and Miss Clark, and I was in Miss Clark's split class. It was first, second grade, and started school there, and it was wonderful. I can't imagine not wanting to learn and not wanting to read. I loved school. And then when I got a little bit older, I didn't just love school, I loved all the friendships that came with it. I'm a people person. That changed a lot from where I was when I was real young, because I wasn't much of a people person until I started school.
Oh, wow.
My sister one time was with it. Mama had taken us to the doctor to get our shots and stuff before we started school, and I wouldn't talk to the doctor. And Dr. Salter said, "Patsy, what are you getting ready to do? And I wouldn't answer him. And the doctor looked at Rita. He said, am I calling her the wrong name? She said, no, she's just plain old Pat. She just don't talk a lot. But then I changed from that to being mouthy. I love people and I love to talk to people. School was wonderful. Then I started East Carteret the first year it opened as a ninth grader. So I was in the first class that went to East Carteret all 4 years for high school.
Wow.
So I caught all the new schools.
Wow.
Yep, and it has been wonderful. I love school. And then in my senior year in school, well, before I started my senior year in school, long about the first weekend of August of 1968,
Y'all hold on tight. This is about to get good.
I met the love of my life. And his name was Stephen Gaskill. He lived on Harker's Island. He was even born on Harker's Island because they couldn't get his mama to the hospital the night he was born because the storm was so bad they couldn't get across the bridge.
Wow. So he was literally born.
So he was literally born by a midwife on Harker's Island.
Wow. Wow.
And he had been in the Army and in Germany for 2 years and came back and got in a bad car wreck. He was in the hospital in traction for 63 days from the end of May to the end of July. And I always told him he had to just about get killed so he'd slow down enough I could catch him. And started talking to him the first time that he spoke to me. He whistled at me. He said, that's the prettiest legs. And that was in front of Barbara Thomas's little store up to the other end of the island by Mr. Clarence's. And then I talked to him later that evening down to Shell Point.
Oh, yeah.
And I sat there and talked to him a long time at Shell Point.
Did you just happen to cross paths?
Just happened to cross paths. And I thought it was all right to talk to him because he had whistled at me, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
And he asked me out on a date. That was on a Thursday night, and he had a date with him on Friday night. And he came to the door to pick me up, still on a crutch from being torn up in the car wreck that he had just gotten in. And come to the door, and he reached around and smelled of my neck. He said, my Lord, you don't stink. And I've been stink ever since.
Yes, he called you stink.
Called me stink, and that was Chanel number 5. And he bought me 52 bottles.
Oh,
and I still have the last one.
Every year he would
Every Christmas he bought me a bottle of Chanel number 5.
Oh, I love that so much. Now, did you know him before? Or?
I did not. He worked in Coast and Geodetic Survey with Jennifer Stein's daddy. And one weekend, Kemp had brought his luggage home, and he hadn't been there to pick it up yet, so I don't remember what that was. It was before I had met him. And Jennifer and I was looking through some of his luggage, and found a picture of the prettiest girl, and that was his Florida girlfriend. But other than that, I did not know him. And we had both lived on the island all our lives, but he was 8 years older than me, so we hadn't gone to school together.
Right, you were in different circles, different times. Yeah.
He went to Smyrna to the 9th grade the first year I started school on Harker's Island, so I didn't know him.
My daddy's got some stories.
Yes.
Yeah, that's for another one.
Yes.
But yeah, I have laughed so many times at stories he's told about Mr. Stephen.
Stephen's a good man.
Oh, he was. Oh, he loved big.
Yeah.
So you went out on your first date, and then what transpired? Because you got to share. Where did you go? What was your date?
Our first date was to a movie, and I don't remember what the name of it was.
You weren't watching that movie.
No, I was watching it. And then we left the movie. After the movie, we left and went to Dimel's on the beach to get me a grape slushy. I didn't think you could come from Moorhead without going to Dimel's at the beach and getting a grape slushy.
Oh. Sounds good.
Yeah, we did that and talked to some people we knew, and that was what we did on our first date, and it went on from there. I don't remember a night after that night that I didn't see Stephen.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Senior in high school, graduated, we had babies. They are our life. Family is our life.
Now, when did you all get married?
In April of '69.
And you graduated when?
in June of '69.
That's what I was getting at. Couldn't wait. All right. So then you graduate, and where y'all moved to where you're living
We
now?
moved to where we are now, and that's where we've been. We stayed with Mom and Daddy till I graduated. So it wouldn't be so many things I had to do. And then we put us a little trailer on that lot. And we have been there ever since.
Yes.
And I can't imagine life without it.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Where my kids grew up on a shore, down to the shore playing, and with family and all the neighborhood kids. I can't imagine life without it.
Yeah.
And right now, there's people that my kids went to school with that knows that if they want to go to an island shore, they can come to Gaskill Landing. And it's okay.
So I can come to Gaskill
Yes,
Landing?
ma'am.
All right.
You can come to Gaskill Landing.
I love it. Oh, me.
And play on the shore.
Oh, well, I haven't been as often as I need to see Anne-Marie, your baby girl. But the times I've been, I have to always stop and look across there because that is there's
It's
something.
beautiful.
It's just amazing the view and the beauty and the serenity that's in that backyard.
Go down to the shore and look, and there's the lighthouse.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's where my kids grew up.
Oh,
You know, somebody stopped at Anne-Marie 4 or 5 years ago. Just stopped in her yard. I'll give you $500,000 for this, and she laughed at them.
Yeah.
What would I do with $500,000 and no Harker's Island and home to go to?
Yeah. I mean, that's useless.
And that's the way we are. It's family, and anybody that comes there is family.
Yeah, and she's not lying about that, folks. Now let's go back a little bit with married life. Like, what have you done through the years?
I've always been mom. I didn't go to work until Buddy was in kindergarten. Now, I did work from home. I did work bookkeeping for some of the boat houses, but I do that from home at night. But I stayed home. I wanted my kids to know who Mama was. So I stayed home until Buddy was in kindergarten, and then I went to work. And I've worked at Wells Fargo, which was Wachovia when I worked there, and I worked to the electric office. After Anne-Marie was born, I took off 4 years. I wouldn't work by the time she was a baby because I wanted her to have the same things that had been for them. And spent time with kids, raised our kids. I've worked until March the 31st of this year. I have been working.
Ooh.
And it's hard not to have the structure that you have when you're on a schedule. So I've always had a schedule. My kids were always on the top of it. My kids grew up in church. My kids were some of those drug children that you hear about.
Yes.
They're drugged to church.
Drugged to church.
Yes.
Yeah.
We went to church. My daddy taught me that if you can do everything else you want to do during the week, you can give God a few hours on Sunday. And I learned that well. So we grew up knowing how blessed we were with all the family that we had around us and all the things that we could do and give God his time. And God helps you through the hard times.
Yes. So Stephanie's your oldest daughter, and she was Tanya's age, I think, right?
Stephanie was a year younger than Tanya.
You're younger. Okay,
Yeah.
so they
And
were
then-
in school together.
And then Buddy lacked a week. Stephanie lacked a week, been a year old when I had Buddy.
Oh, me? Really? They were that close? I didn't realize they were that close.
51 weeks
but
apart.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
Buddy was a week old on Stephanie's first birthday.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
And that was her baby.
Oh, yes. Yes,
Baby.
they
It's her
were
baby.
extremely close. Buddy was 2 years older than me through school,
Yeah.
but I loved him. Yes.
He was a good young'un.
He was, and hilarious.
Fun to be around,
Yeah.
kind, help anybody.
Yes.
One night, Harry Lewis stopped and talked to me and Stephen to tell us that our son, Buddy, David, to a lot of people, had stopped there on his way to the prom, dressed up. He said, my car wouldn't start. He said, and that young man with those pretty clothes on throw that hood up and fix my car
Of course he did.
because that's kind of kid that he was.
Oh, for sure.
Kind, easygoing, but you left people alone. He didn't want you to mess with people. He didn't want you to be mean.
Yeah.
He had a good heart. He was just like his daddy.
He was.
Had a best heart.
Yeah, he was, and he could get in some scrapes,
Yep.
and we laugh and
Laugh through them.
Laugh through them. That's
Yeah,
right.
we laugh through
Oh
'em.
my goodness. If you don't mind,
I do not
because
mind.
I'm going to take advantage of this situation here where I'm here and can share the prom story.
Huh.
About my prom. I was in 8th grade, and I asked David to go to the prom with me because I had a crush on him for years and years, and I would profess my love for him to you, Miss Patsy, every time I saw you. But anyway, I asked him to go to the prom with me, and he said he would, and so I get ready, and I'm all excited, and I look and driving up my driveway. Now he's 9th grade. He does not have a license. He's driving. Can you, because I have never asked you this, but can you tell me how that happened?
Well, he had cleaned up that Pontiac real good because he was going to pick up Stacy and take her to the prom. And he said, "Mom, it's not very far." He said, "Can't I drive and pick up Stacy?" I got thinking about it. I thought to myself, I'm not supposed to do this, but I'm going to. I got in the back seat. Gaston got under the wheel and drove that half a mile to Stacy's and walked to the door and brought her in, put her in the car, and got it back in the car under the steering wheel. I reckon Lana and Wayne thought I was foolish. And got in the car and drove to Harkers Island School to that 8th grade prom and parked that car and took Stacy out. And after they got in the building, I got in the car and drove home.
I love it. It was the most fun. And I couldn't believe it. You know, I was like, he's driving. And of course, Mom and Daddy burst out laughing because they saw you in the back seat. But yeah, so total, he probably drove 1 mile.
Probably max.
Maybe.
Yep.
I don't know. If
max of 1 mile.
Yeah, but it was the biggest deal.
It was a big deal.
It was a big deal. And we had
well,
the best
to him,
time.
he wanted to pick you up.
He did. So I guess he was technically my first date. I hadn't thought about that. But
And that was his first prom.
His first prom. Driving, yeah. It was so fun. But yeah, we had lots of good times.
Good times.
And then your baby girl, I was teaching at East Carteret, and of course she was playing softball with me.
Yes.
And Daryl and I were married, young married couple living on the island, didn't have any kids, and Anne Marie became ours.
Yes. And she loves you till today.
Oh my
Now,
goodness.
she loves you and Daryl.
Well, it was nothing to, of course, we'd ride places together, but it was nothing to come home and she'd be sprawled out on the couch, like waiting for us.
Yes.
You know? Just how I wanted it.
That's what family does.
Yeah, she's so good.
So you've been part of my life a long time.
A long time.
And Tag, you're it, baby. You're not going anywhere.
Good. I don't want to. Well, anything else that you would like to share? Any other stories or places you want to go with us?
I just want to thank the Lord for all of his goodness and for my 3 kids and through the hardest thing you can ever do in losing a child. All the good memories, like a lot of these we've just talked about, sharing for Buddy and for Stephanie and for Anne-Marie and all that we have. I thank the Lord for my new great-grandbaby. Mr. Sullivan's all right. And for my grandkids and all that they've helped us through.
Yeah. Miss Patsy, you have had some big things to bear. You really have. But you have done it with such grace. I mean, your pain has been evident. It's been there because your mama, I mean, your heart, you've lost your child, you've lost your husband, but it has never broke you.
No.
I mean, your faith has got you through.
Yes.
And I want you to know that that is a legacy that's part of your legacy that you're leaving to your family, your grandkids, but also to us, to your extended family. Because to me, you are a giant. And I'm laying it out there, so I'll tell you this. There have been times when I have faced troubles and I have faced trials and sickness, health issues.
Yes.
And I have looked myself in the mirror, like you've told me before. You said you tell yourself, you can't let it beat you. But I have looked myself in the mirror and I've said, look, Patsy Gaskill's going through worse.
And you get there.
Yep. And you've got me through.
I feel like when I lost Buddy, my whole world would have collapsed, except I had Stephanie and Anne-Marie that I loved just as good as I did Buddy. Mm-hmm. And they loved him so good that their world was destroyed. The day that Buddy was found in the ocean, and I thank the good Lord every day that his was found.
Yes.
Anne-Marie was in an airplane looking for him over the ocean. Stephanie and Stephen and Beverly and Aunt Jo was in the boat looking for him. And when Stephanie left, she left with dry clothes and food because she was going to find him and he was going to be hungry. And I was standing to the front door with that 5-month-old first great-grandchild of mine, or grandchild.
That was his.
And God wraps his arms around you and pulls you through. And when you get to the other side, you say, you know you got through it because God helped you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how you get through. Stephen was the love of my life. We were together 52 and a half years when I lost him. And it's the fun times that gets you through. All the good times, the laughs. We brought Buddy home from the hospital. He was a week and a half old. Had him laying on the sofa because I had just fed him and I wanted to be able to see him. And we were sitting to the supper table and he squealed like Grandma used to say, a stuck pig. And looked, he had his hand in his hair. And the more he'd pull that hair, the harder he'd squeal. And the harder he'd squeal, the more he'd pull that hair. And we'd laugh about it after we figured out what was going on. Uh-huh. But it's the good stories we still have.
Yes.
And Stephanie would say, baby hurt. Baby hurt. Mm-hmm. She was a year old. That was her baby.
Yes.
He was hurt.
Yep. Yep.
But that's the way it was with all of them. Anne-Marie can play ball like she played ball because of Buddy. She learned to play basketball sitting on his shoulders in the backyard with a gang of boys.
Yep.
And she learned how to throw a softball because of Buddy, because he told her, you're not going to throw that like a little girl. You're going to throw it like you're supposed to.
And she didn't.
She whammed it in
there.
Yes,
she did.
Yes, she did. But it's all those good memories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's the good memories.
Well, you are blessed and you do have lots of good memories. And your family knows that they're loved. And to me, that's the greatest thing.
If they don't know it, I've done something wrong.
Mm-hmm. Well, they know it. We all know it.
So, I hope so. That's my prayer.
Yeah, well, I love you. And I
love you.
I appreciate, always have, always will. I appreciate you coming and spending the morning with us.
Thank you so much for everything.
Yes, ma'am. Love you. Thank you again for joining us to The Landing. This podcast is brought to you by the Core Sound Waterfowl Museum and Heritage Center. I am your host, Stacy Davis Baisden, and today's podcast was produced by April Davidson. Tune in next week as we continue learning, sharing, and remembering together. If you'd like to hear more, check out our previous episodes where you get your podcasts. Until then, stay safe and be kind.